Hi, my name is Delaney Howell, and this is my Sociological Imagination PowerPoint assignment. So, firstly, I want to start out in Chapter 3. In Chapter 3, we studied a term called non-material culture. Non-material culture is the totality of knowledge, beliefs, values, and rules for appropriate behavior. Like in a job setting, there are certain rules and protocols that employers expect their employees to follow. As you can see to the right, I have chosen a picture of a binder containing a list of appropriate dress and behavior that my job has particularly created for someone in my position in order to best represent the image that they want to create. In Chapter 4, we discussed social identity. So social identity is the total of all the statuses that define an individual. In the textbook, Tischler states that a person's social identity can actually change several times throughout their life as they gain new statuses, such as with my mom. She went from being a young single adult to getting married, and now it has the status of a wife, and she became a mother, so that is one of her statuses as well. She has a job as a caregiver to Alzheimer's patients, so that is also one of her statuses. And lastly, I chose her status as a worship leader in our church. Fashions and fads. So fashions are the standards of dress or manner in a given society at a certain time. Fashions and fads can easily be intertwined and confused for one another, while fads are short-lived and don't affect such a large group of people as fashions. Fashions tend to last a little bit longer, and according to Alfred A. Kroeber, a nation's social stability affects how rapidly fashions come and go. So as in times of depression and fashion trends seem to change more rapidly than they do in times of economic prosperity. This is a painting that I took a picture of at the Liberal Arts Museum in Houston. So as I was going throughout the exhibits, I saw many of the fashion trends that were followed by certain groups of people in different cultures and in different time periods. Social groups. A social group is a number of people who have a common identity, some feeling of unity, and certain common goals and shared norms. And to go more specific, a small group is a type of social group such as families, peer groups, and work groups that actually meet together and contain few enough members so that all members know one another. To represent a small social group, I chose to use a picture of a girls' club that I have started in my church, and we all gathered together a few months out of the year to enjoy a time of fellowship and games and devotions. This is an example of a small group because the members are so few that we are close and we all know each other. Sanctions. So sanctions are rewards and penalties that a group's members use to regulate an individual's behavior. There are two different types of sanctions: positive sanctions and negative sanctions. Positive sanctions are used to encourage particular behaviors, while negative sanctions discourage the continuance of wrong behavior. So in these slides, I gave some of my students cupcakes after they had worked hard to clean up the classroom, and this represents a positive sanction that I gave them for doing something good. And as you can see, one of my students enjoyed his red cupcake so much that he decided he was going to wear it. And of course, the other students had to go along and follow him. Poverty. So I decided to go more specifically into poverty in America, found in Chapter 8. Poverty refers to a condition in which people do not have enough money to maintain a standard of living that includes the basic necessities of life, such as food. According to Tischler, there are between 14 million to 45 million people in America who live in the poverty level. So I live in Houston, which is a very big urban area, and because it is so large, we do have a large population of homeless in our area. You can pretty much go around any corner and there's going to be someone there holding a sign or asking for money. And something that my family has started doing over the past few years is usually on holidays like Thanksgiving, we decide to go and feed some of the homeless people. On this last Thanksgiving particularly, my family, along with another family in our church, decided to set up a tent in front of a store in their parking lot and hand out plates of food to the homeless. Despite the rainy weather that day, they actually got to hand out over 40 plates. Unfortunately, I did have to work and I wasn't able to be there, but it was really exciting being able to see the impact that we can make on our city. Race. Race refers to a category of people who are defined as similar because of a number of physical characteristics. Going even further, assimilation. Assimilation is the process whereby groups with different cultures come to have a common culture. I used my church as an example. I really love my church because of the large racial and cultural diversity that we have. There are many different people in our church that speak differently. They have different languages, whether it's English or Spanish or even sign language. We all follow many different traditions in our families, but I love that we can all come together in unity for the purpose of worshiping God together. Family structure. So the nuclear family is the most basic family form and is made up of a married couple and their biological or adopted children. And going even further into that, sometimes the extended family, such as grandparents, aunts, uncles, or even in-laws and other relatives, they may also live in the same household as the nuclear family or in homes that are close together. My household in particular consists only of our nuclear family, although in years past we have had several relatives in our extended family live with us. Education. Cultural transmission is the idea in which major portions of society's knowledge are passed from one generation to the next. And not only does the educational system within schools train in academics, but also in social skills and knowledge. I am really thankful for the Christian education that I got while I was in school, and for the impartation of spiritual wisdom that I received from my teachers. I became skilled in academics, but I also graduated feeling confident and equipped spiritually for the world ahead. And lastly, I want to talk about the experience of illness, which was found in chapter 16. So the term sick role is a shared set of cultural norms that legitimates deviant behavior caused by the illness and channels the individual into the healthcare system. And sickness has not only a physical effect on the body and mind, but it also affects the individual's social interactions and behaviors, such as in the life of Vincent van Gogh. These pictures I took at the Van Gogh exhibit, and they depict the sad but creative life of Vincent van Gogh. He spent much of his time as a social recluse in his room, painting usually, and he suffered from much depression and other mental illnesses such as hallucinations and bipolar disorder. He did use his paintings, though, as an outlet to express his emotion and perception of life where words lacked. As you can see in one of these pictures, the bedroom picture, that is actually one of the rooms in the insane asylum that he lived in, called the Yellow House. So thank you so much for watching my presentation, and I hope that everyone has a great and fantastic rest of the semester.